Welcome back to the Bako Motorsports Power Hour, brought to you by the Bakersfield Californian, and we're now into the Autoclub Famoso Raceway section. We'll get to that here momentarily, but just a reminder, it's coming December 5th. Looking forward to it. Our big special section, end of the year tribute to the drivers and the team owners and the season that will be, and obviously we'll be discussing a lot of what happened at Autoclub Famoso Raceway on Saturday night, June 27th. But reserve your space now for it. We're going to have some great rates on that for advertising. Support your team. We're going to do some of those applause things for those drivers that want to get their name out there. So we'll have all that coming up here shortly, and looking forward to that special section in December. And we'll also announce the All Area Driving Awards. Those will be announced on December 5th, and that's going to be a part of that section as well. All right. Here we go. Saturday Night Nitro was pretty darn spectacular as far as the racing and the competition goes.
As an event, yeah, I mean, it was part of it was the end of a big day of racing out there. Had the Mopar event, and you had Pro Mods. This is a Pro Mod car. These are really quick, really fun cars to watch.
The Pro Mod cars did put on a show, and the thing that I was struck by too was this first time I've seen actually the big show cars at Famoso, and just an incredible night of racing as far as that goes.
Yeah, all told you had 4 big show, we say NHRA funny cars, modern funny cars. 4 of those on the premise. You had about 16 nostalgia funny cars, half a dozen AA fuel dragsters, the front motored nostalgia style dragsters, and half a dozen fuel altereds, a couple of nitro Harley bikes, which have a hard time getting down the racetrack, and jet cars, Pro Mods, West Coast hot rods, which run 8th mile stuff, very, very fast race cars. So just a huge one-day event, basically.
Right. It was huge, and it was. I thought it was a good crowd there. I think they probably were hoping for a little bit bigger crowd than they had, but it felt like it was a good night. It was a great environment. And the guys we talked to going into this, we talked to Bill Dunlap, we talked to Gary Densham. Gary Densham had some interesting words about the event and why they were there and what the future of Famoso could be. Let's hear Gary Densham.
Well, we can almost hear
all right.
him.
Well, we'll have to fix that at some point. So yeah. The audio was not working on that.
You know, Gary Densham fits in perfectly because he is old school. He ran his son Steven drives the nostalgia funny car teacher's pet, which is a replica of what Gary was driving back in the day when he started racing funny cars. He was an auto shop teacher.
Right.
So he's old school. So that's why I sought out Gary there. He's just a great guy and a big fan of drag racing in general.
Yeah, and his comments in that were that his feeling was that Famoso could host a national event. And it'd be interesting when we get Blake back next week to talk to him a little bit about that theory, that the only thing that Famoso is missing is the facilities for the crowd to handle a big crowd, but that everything else at Famoso could easily handle a national event. And I don't know what your thoughts on that are, Mike. You've been there when national events were. And
yeah, well, he's talking about the track preparation, the safety, and it is. It's all concrete for a quarter of a mile. It's a great track. Track preparation is good. It's got a long runoff area, long shutoff area. So there'd be some minor changes. I think they require some more things at the top end, but pretty much it's a national event ready track as far as that goes. As far as the facilities and stuff, it's old school. It's
old school, and that's what they like about it. I think this Bill Dunlap video will play. We talked to Bill Dunlap earlier in the day, and he's coming off this big win against Tony Bartone that snapped Tony Bartone's winning streak, which I think was at 22 races. And they beat him in the finals of the Bowling Green event, which was a hot rod reunion event from NHRA. And here's Bill Dunlap talking about why his win and why he was in Bakersfield.
Green hero, I guess. You come back from Bowling Green and knocked off Bartone. How'd you do that?
Well, I think it was a team effort. I was just lucky enough to push the pedal down, and I think we caught him at the wrong time, and I think they overpowered the track. And we ran pretty comparable to what we've been running all day, so I think it was just our day.
One of those things where he didn't stumble at all last year, didn't stumble at all at the March meet this year, and finally had that little stumble again.
That's right, a little bit of stumble, and fortunately we was there to make the difference. And I think we ran a 72 the first round, a 572 in the second round, and a 573 against him. And I clicked it just a little early. I couldn't hear him, and it was starting to throw a little junk out of the pipes, so I clicked it, crossed my fingers.
And a week later, you're back in Bakersfield. Why?
Well, you know, we like to race, and Tom and the crew said, let's get out there and race. So they made a hurried trip back out, and here we are.
What do you think about this little Saturday night show?
Oh, I think it's great. I think there's a good turnout for fans and so forth here, and there's some good cars here, so it ought to be fun.
Hey, thanks a lot.
All right, so that was Bill Dunlap. And then later on that night, Bill Dunlap did this. Let's show the video of Bill Dunlap winning this thing. So early on, the burnout there. And going against, is it, who did you go?
Rick White.
Rick White, right.
And for those wondering, Bill Dunlap is another old school racer who came back after years off. He's 76 years old, or 76 years young if you look at him.
Yeah.
And he's on top of his game.
He really is on top of his game.
And they've got this high-speed dragster going again pretty good. They had a couple down years in that car, but he started showing some power at the March meet and went in there and is now among the top dogs.
Well, and that's and you know it was interesting to watch his progressions there, and he was really consistent. And of course, the other story was Jim Murphy later on did an exhibition run and was also really back on top. Another veteran driver.
Right, another old guy, and he ran 567. He's got Roland Leong tuning for him now.
Right.
First time Roland's tuned a front motor dragster in 40 years or so.
So again, getting ready to show the Bill Dunlap victory here. There's the lights, and getting ready to light it up here any second now. And there they're going to go, maybe. And there they are down the track. So that was Dunlap over there in the Autoclub left lane, and with the win and the light on that. But on the Nitro, on the funny car side, Mindy Fry got the big win. I think we have video of Mindy's winning run. Let's show that video as well. So Mindy, you predicted it.
Yeah, we had talked to Mindy earlier in the night, and she was there basically as a test session, as she said, test session. But it's always good when you have competition. And they've been trying to find, this is an Arius engine. Nobody else uses an Arius engine.
Right.
They're not supposed to be able to work that well on fuel. And so she ran a 587 up testing in Sacramento, and she was looking to get down maybe 580s, and I mentioned to her, well, maybe you can run 570.
And she laughed at you.
And she laughed at me.
Right.
So she's not laughing anymore. She was laughing with me after the races.
Yeah,
because,
she was laughing with you after the races. We'll show that video momentarily, but Mindy Fry is one of the more popular, drivers, and there, and everyone seems to really get along with her. She's the backup girl for Denver Shoots. We've seen it numerous times, but really well respected, and this is kind of a long time coming for them.
Yeah, and she was, back in the day, they had a 250-mile-an-hour club for nostalgia front motor dragsters, and she was a member of that, first female to do so, went 251, and her run right here. 572 at 252 miles an hour. That's her fastest time she's ever gone to. So what a great evening for Mindy.
Let's hear Mindy Fry here.
Famoso Raceway. Mindy Fry, talked earlier in the day. I joked about running a 570. Guess who ran a 570 and came away a winner?
We did. We ran a 572, 252, my best mile an hour ever, even in a front engine top fueler or in a funny car. I can't believe it. Like, if you told me when we were talking, we were going to run a 572 and win, I would have said, okay, whatever.
That's pretty much what you said, because said you've been running 587 or hoping to, what were you looking for, low 80?
Yeah, we were looking to repeat from what we did in testing, to run in the 80s and be able to do that consistently. And we are missing a couple of crew members, and so we have all new guys. They're not really familiar working on a race car like this, and so we had some real trials in the pits too, getting.
So that was Mindy Fry talking about some of the challenges of getting that thing up and running, and then they got it going. So But a great night for her, a great win, and then of course before she ran, Roger Garton's crash happened with Matt Bynum. Matt Bynum driving in the Nitro Nick car,
which is basically, had Roger not crashed, Mindy would not have raced. They were still trying to get the car back together.
Yeah,
and they came screaming up the lights. So his crash enabled her to
slowed things down,
and took 20, 25 minutes or whatever before they got going again, 30 minutes. And so she was there in the staging lanes waiting, and she was able to go out, and she ended up getting a win. And, of course, at the time you're doing this interview, we all still had no idea of the seriousness.
We had no idea what was going on with that. And, we had other interviews, too, that we actually haven't even posted. A great interview with Cole Kuntz talking about the event and what the event meant. Also, let's just kind of toggle through some of these photos real quick from Tom.
I think we might have another video too. There is some videos that got some pretty good views, and I think.
Which one is that?
Do you have that video, Chris?
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah,
This little 1 minute video here.
Right. The most popular video of the night.
Most popular video of the night.
Right.
And
the Fighting Irish always come to town well dressed and well prepared.
Well, you've got to like the Fighting Irish, and these are called back in the '60s. You had backup girls.
Right.
And the Fighting Irish that was started this, you love it because the car is just Irish. And then we've got period correct stuff here. We're matching the car. We got the Hot for Teacher car in the other lane, which, of course, if you got a car with that name on it, you've got to have a backup girl. And this is just kind of how it was. And actually, they're serving a purpose. You're backing these, whether they're female or male.
Right.
You're backing the drivers up into their own tracks, and here's the fuel altered, which are always popular.
Those fuel altered cars were unbelievable,
and they are unbelievable, and they are growing in popularity. We're going to see a lot more of these fuel altereds. But this video was one of our more popular videos, and I didn't have a car going down the racetrack. Go figure.
Show a couple of these photos, and we'll get to a break here after that. But Tom Mock was just on fire over this weekend. Some of his best work yet, I think. And there was this was the Castle Rock car that ran down. I mean, 10,000 horsepower, unbelievable power of those cars running down the track at Famoso, and just a great night, great day of racing, but unfortunate circumstances. But ultimately, I think everyone who was there came away with that was some kind of event, something to be held.
Yeah, and as I was talking to my neighbor before, we were talking about how many nitro cars were there and the whole variety. And the fact that she got in for $25 a carload. He said it had to be the best value in motorsports, and hopefully there's going to be another one in September. You got to if you haven't been out there, get out there in September because it's a pretty good night of racing.
All right, let's take a break. Let's go. Steve Hughes is here. We'll talk to him about what they got coming up this weekend. Fireworks on the 4th of July at Kern County Raceway Park, a big night of racing. We'll be right back after these messages.